Whoa, what is up, YouTube? What's going on? Chana D, your techno dad here with my man Brian Tong. How you doing, Brian?
What up? What up, Chana?
All right. So glad to have you back on the channel. How are you doing, man?
Always good, man. Just still recovering and hustling from all the Apple fallout of just all the coverage, since it's kind of like in my
Oh man.
wheelhouse, and just been cranking away and just put out a Apple Watch Series 5 video this morning that we shot over the weekend. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty tight.
I didn't see the video. I saw the alert. I was like, oh snap, already.
Did you see you saw the video that I'm most happy about, right? Do you
Oh
know
yeah,
which one?
the Old Town Road parody.
Yeah,
Oh
man.
yeah.
It's a little cray.
You got to see that parody I sent you, man. That one's hilarious.
Oh yeah, I know. I gotta watch that one too.
Those guys made like 5 million views in like 4 months just because of that parody, man. It's hilarious too. They took all of their all the comments
Yeah.
from their subscribers and made the lyrics out of those.
Super cool.
Like, crazy. Who do we have here? We got Skeet Wang. What up, buddy? How are you doing?
Oh, Skeet.
Skeet. Potes in the
windows.
house.
Whoa.
Brandon Lee, what is going on? And if you guys don't know who Brian is, check out his channel. Link is down, should be in the description box there. Brian, you want to quickly just let them know what you do?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm an independent YouTuber creator now. We're working for this big old machine called CNET for, man, I think around 10 years, but decided to go the indie route and just where things have been moving and going and just give it a shot and go ham, right? So I do everything from primarily Apple coverage, also tech coverage as well, geek culture coverage. So whether it's like Marvel stuff, Disney stuff, sometimes get the angles of like how they created the Lion King movie entirely in VR and do kind of feature stories like that. A little bit of everything. Talk about Disney Plus, Google, Samsung, TVs, Apple, just everything. So if you're kind of like in that wheelhouse of geek culture and all that good stuff, then you probably like dig it. So, and then I also do like a audio podcast that complements my Apple coverage called Apple Bits XL. And yeah, I guess that's just one of the many things. And then other projects outside of all this craziness. So
a lot of cool stuff. And Brian's got some crazy access to a lot of this information, a lot of this stuff. So definitely go over to his channel and subscribe up. Just tossing out a tweet right now saying that we're live.
You're tossing out the tweet live as we're live.
Live as we are live.
As we are live.
With the zoomed in look. Yeah, that's right. All right. So, Brian, you told me that Samsung sent you an 8K TV.
They did. So, it was the Q900. I think they've sent it to me for review, for the record. People are like, oh, you're really raking that cheddar in with your channel. I'm like, no, I'm still building up. Don't like think that it's all just like that. But yeah, they delivered it last week during Prime Apple Week, and I've been able to play with it. I've probably spent a good few, I would say 4 or 5 hours just goofing around and seeing what I like and what I don't. And this is their 8K behemoth, and obviously there's not 8K content to go around. So I think the thing that sticks out to me the most about it are two things. Obviously, it's a massive TV. So no matter what, Shauna, you've been around all this home theater stuff. You can never get tired of seeing just a ridiculously large screen that pretty much turns a wall of your home into a movie theater.
Right.
Like
right.
I'm never going to get jaded by that. So its size is impressive. I think almost literally laying down. Look, I'm like 5'5". I think it might be slightly either the same height as me or taller than me horizontally. It's that big.
Wow.
It's freaking huge.
What is it? The 88, 98?
Yeah. It's the 88. It's huge, dude.
88-inch 8K.
Okay. So the other thing is like, fine, you can throw all that stuff out there. But if you want to talk about the actual TV, the reality is that so much of the content that we watch that's streamed, whether it's over the air broadcast, even kind of whether you really need to get the best quality of over the air stuff with an over the air antenna now, because sometimes our cable operators, they're squishing it to 720. It looks really bad on an 8K TV. It just does, right? Even 1080 doesn't even look that great on a TV that's formatted for 8K. They talk about their upscaling, but I think the biggest thing is that because you and I were all about that OLED life, I mean, or at least we're all about the inky blacks. The biggest thing that hurts this TV is just the fact that its blacks are not that black. And so it's hard for me, to get past that. But from when there's the impact of the size of it, but it seems like a layman's test where whenever I just turn off the lights of a TV, and if the black on the screen is pretty much matches the black on the border where you can't even see a border, that tells me that it's really good, right? You can talk about measurement tools all you want, but the human eye is the best measurement tool that we all have. So that's how I really I'm not hating on Samsung by any means. They know the QLED technology is an LCD technology. It can't get that black yet, or won't until they graduate to OLED. So once I see that, I'm instantly like, and I already know. And then I watch it, and I'm like, it's just not black. It's so important and underrated how important it is for that black space in the letterboxing you see to match the border of your TV that's black. That's how you know you're really getting really deep colors.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that I've said in my videos, that when I'm watching a movie and I literally turn off all the lights, the black bars just disappear. Like, they're disappear. All you see is that movie picture. That's it. And I kind of, it's funny when I see like all these people with their hue lighting like on the back of the wall behind the TV, and I'm like, why do you want to do that?
Okay.
And then he was doing that Ambilight thing. That's you. You told, like, why are you doing that, Brian?
No, hold on. For the record. I don't color it. Like, you know how people get all crazy, like, I got a theme, I gotta watch Spider-Man and put a red hue light behind it. No, I'm not about that. Like, I'll use it for B-roll shots to look cool, but using a backlight behind your TV instead of your eyes just focusing on this like really bright image, it allows you to kind of like focus on a larger space. So I just set my hue light to normal room temperature and just a little bit of glow on the outside, just because it's better on my eyes. But I still use the whole, like you said, the whole eyeball test of how black is your black. That's all you need to know to be like, okay, this TV is delivering on the promise of what I expect.
Yeah, I mean, that's so. Have you seen the like Ambilight thing from Philips Hue?
Is that where it like adapts while you're watching it?
It adapts to what's going on the
I don't even
TV.
care
So it's
about
like
that.
blue, and then it's blue all over, and then it turns red, and it's red all over. But for me, when I'm watching a movie, I don't want to be distracted by all that hoo-ha, all that nonsense.
That's gimmicky, honestly. That's gimmicky.
Yeah, it is. It totally is. And for some people that like it, cool. That's your bag, cool. For me, I don't like it. I'd rather turn off all the lights and just see that, like, what is it, 2.40 to 1 or 2.35?
Yeah.
Aspect ratio is. We got some people in the chat saying what's up, what's going on. Timothy, Ryan's got a question. What's the best TV, $3,000 or less? Let's get back to that in a little bit. Austin, Texas is in the house.
Austin.
And look, we have this comment here. Bias lighting is for eye strain. Black levels all work well in the dark. You don't see the shadow detail during the day. That's definitely true. Hey, what's up, Alton? How are you guys doing? All right. So what I noticed, and this is why I wanted to talk to you. We're both so busy that we can't even just like get on the phone and talk. Like, we got to do this to like.
This is how we talk. This is how we catch up, bro.
And oh, hold on. Let me just say, hey, Chris, thank you so much, man. Thanks for watching. He says, hey, Techno Dad, you're the reason I got into home theater. My wife is not loving you, though. Hey, I get it. I get it.
That's how we do.
So I saw the 8K Samsung. I saw the 8K OLED. I saw them all at CES. And they were all looking awesome because they were running native 8K content.
Yes.
Right. And then I rolled back through. I was a judge at the 4K TV shootout.
That's right.
In like June or July or something. When I was coming back, since I have to fly into Reno and then drive 3 hours back home, ridiculous. Oh, the power failure. Okay, I totally forgot. You guys that are watching on the right now or on the replay, whatever, we've been live for 10 minutes. If the power goes out and the stream goes off, it's done. Okay,
you just jinxed it.
It's like, I'm knocking on wood. Basically, what happened was there was a fire due to a tree falling down due to high winds on some power lines, and it burned down a bunch of houses, and people were, had to relocate, and they're staying in hotels and all this nonsense. And so PG&E got sued. And so now Edison, and that was pretty close to here. That was about 60 miles away from here. So now Edison is trying to not get sued and so they're just shutting off the power countywide. Can you believe this?
What?
Like to like 26,000 or something like that.
For how long?
Indefinite. The first one just happened at like 11 a.m. and then it came back on the next day around 9 a.m. Like, yeah, I just spent like $400 on a generator just so that we can like run our Wi-Fi and have some entertainment while we're here.
So is everyone running a generator in that area right now until this gets resolved, or what?
Dude, some people don't. Some people are just rocking out with like, they're just hanging out.
How long is this going to be going on for?
We got an alert saying possibly it'll turn off today at 9 a.m., somewhere between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. So I got that email at 8:45 this morning.
Wow.
But this
Get
is
your
something.
hot showers in, everybody. Get your hot showers in. Damn.
Yeah, no, totally, man. Anything I have to do that involves electronics, I DJ'd a wedding on Saturday, and there was a chance it could have gone out that day. So the wedding venue's like, "Hey, we have a generator. How much power does your stuff take?" I'm like, "It takes a lot. Let me bring my own." So,
oh my gosh,
it's been crazy. Anyway, so that's the disclaimer. I forgot to say that at the beginning. If the power goes off, then the stream dies. It's done. Okay. But anyway, back to the situation. Flying home from the TV shootout, I stopped over at Best Buy and I checked out the TVs they had there, and the 8K was there, and they were playing 4K content. It just didn't look good. Just did not look good. And they were playing it off the disc, and somebody asked me about buying an 8K TV, and I said to wait to see what kind of upscaling algorithm they're going to come up with in the following 2 years.
Yep, agreed.
I mean, I'm sure you've seen stuff on YouTube, like Blackmagic has a new 6K camera. I know Red's coming out with a bunch of new 6 and 8K cameras. So we're definitely getting there, slowly but surely. But I mean, where I was talking to you about Allied, that movie was shot in 6K with the 4K digital intermediate. That's like one of the few.
One of the few. And you always joke like, Brian, I know you love your superhero movies, but it ain't got that 4K, 6K OG like original file.
Yeah.
It's like, and the reality is that, look, even what you're talking about, Red and others getting out, 6K cameras coming soon. By the time that content comes to us, really, that we can consume it on an everyday normal basis, we're not even talking about 2 years, right? You're saying, hey, 2 years to see how their upscaling algorithm works out. But really, if we're talking about a content standpoint of 8K being readily adopted, reality is that even over the air antennas right now, at least, and I'm not talking about cable, but over the air, you're getting 1080p on some, but we're not even at 4K over the air. Think about this, 8K. So by the time we start getting 4K over the air, still a few years away from that. An 8K native, it's gonna really be a while. I mean, there's gonna be moments. I think the platform that you're gonna see 8K on the most, guess what? YouTube. That's probably where you're gonna see it the most first, before even we start seeing it on some of these digital distribution platforms. Quite honestly.
Definitely. And I know we talked about this before, like a 4K UHD disc is a 100 gigabyte, Blu-ray disc that's already maxed out. So if we're talking about how are you going to deliver an 8K, that's going to be a different disc, different compression altogether.
Yep.
Are we even going to be getting that quality that we're getting out of 4K with an 8K disc? And then of course, what you're talking about, streaming, how many 8K streams can we have going on in one neighborhood?
I mean, to your point, I think it's going to be I think the industry is going to find out specifically, or figure out specifically, what type of content merits 8K, right? I think 4K is in a spot where you can really put out anything 4K. For the most part, digital distribution is great. Physical media is great. But 8K, that's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different ball game. Even to your point, talking about, I remember back in the day when Sony was one of the first companies to have 4K content. Didn't they give you like this hard drive add-on to your TV that downloaded a few movies in 4K, because they were still trying to figure out at the time
how to deliver
it. And maybe it's something like that down the road, or some sort of physical server system, because even you talk about Apple TV, 4K, and these other set-top boxes, it's not like they're rocking 100 gigs of storage space. They're
Right.
playing with like 32 gigs of storage space. And the 4K that's delivered through them is super compressed. It's different. But
Right.
I mean, I love when you see 8K content at CS, you are blown away and you're like, oh yeah, we'll only see that here and nowhere else.
Right. Totally. Totally.
Nowhere else.
No, not at all. And look, dude, we got a Rob E, a $2 super chat saying CNET sucks without
Oh,
Brian.
Rob E showing love to my man Chana. And
Awesome.
thank you for the comments, man.
Yeah, actually, to your point, there's a new device. Have you heard of a kaleidoscope?
No, tell me about it. Because
All
you're
right.
the man.
So basically, it is high quality streaming, digital streaming for rich ass people. Like the I think like the cheapest one is like 5,000. There's an $8,000 option. Basically, what it is, Brian, is a new movie comes out, you buy it, normal price, $30, 26,799, whatever, and it downloads the movie to this box. So it actually gives you the 4K 1-to-1 quality.
Really?
So it's kind of like a digital delivery system.
Yeah.
And let me see if I can find. No, that's not it. Wrong one. No. There we go. Let me see if I can find the right. Oh, I got to redo this.
So while you're looking for that, you're saying, so this is almost kind of like what we talked about with Sony's delivery method, that this is a private company. Do you even know how large the storage on this box is? Is it something like 2 terabytes or what is it?
Oh, no. It's a lot larger than that. All right. So here's their website. Let's go to their players.
Okay, who are you buying the movie from? Are you buying it from them, or is it like for movies anywhere, or what?
So they have a 6 terabyte or a 12 terabyte version. Is that on screen? Yeah. Okay.
Strato 5.
Strato S.
Oh, Strato S. Sorry, I can't see that.
And typically the 12 gigabyte it's saying will store approximately 300 movies. And I think that they're saying that from not all 4K movies, but 4K, 1080p, that kind of stuff. Then you get the big daddy here, the Terra movie server, 40 terabytes. And what this does, this will download the movie. It will save it in your house, and then you got to get some of these guys, and then you can stream all those things to different parts of your home, right?
This is literally, okay, first of all, actually, for the record, I actually think this is really cool, but this is for the 1%ers out there right now. That's the thing, right? It is to your point and why you're talking about this, showing us, this is what we're alluding to, like there needs to be some sort of delivery system. Now, obviously, these people are hoping that they're the ones that can kind of get ahead of it, but it always, like anything, it always scares me when I see this, because this is the classic, like, these guys are doing what they're setting themselves up for the future. And then someone like Sony or Apple is going to be like, we're just going to do that. And no one's going to even know who our Kaleidoscape friends are. I mean, you see that at CES all the time.
Right. I mean, I think like, it's a great idea. And here's a shot of their movie store here.
So you have to buy through their movie store. It looks like they have Spider-Man Far From Home, so that's pretty new.
Yeah, they have they have a bunch of Disney stuff. I
mean, this is the thing that makes it pre-order. I was like, wait, they got Abominable already? This is the thing that's also tricky about this is for the general consumer won't look, general consumer doesn't even really care about 4K yet. They know about 4K now. I feel like it sounds weird because everyone watching this for the most part, and you and I, we're around this 4K stuff and terminology forever. So for us, it's like, come on, get on 4K already. I think about my mom and dad who are like kind of the middle of the road consumer. They don't even really know what 4K is. They're just they only know 4K because I'm like, it's the best quality right now. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, because you're talking about it. Talking about it.
And 1080, to them, 1080p, they don't even talk about 1080p. They just like, I want to watch a movie. They don't refer to it. Is the movie in 4K or 1080p or 720p? So that delivery system is amazing, but for them to even make waves, they've got to appeal to the general consumer. The general consumer just doesn't care about that. They don't know. They just don't know.
perfectly timed comment by Aaron Johnson here. They definitely need to make a cheaper version of the Kaleidoscape players for people who don't want to bother paying extremely high prices. And that's, excuse me, and that's, uh-oh.
You're good. You're good. You're good. You get an email that they're turning the power down?
I got a text from my wife saying, uh-oh, but I mean, the stream is still going.
I hope she's okay.
She's upstairs. It's not like it's far away.
I think she wrote "uh-oh" because she saw that you're looking at that server system. She's like, "Don't buy that. Don't buy that, babe. Stay away from that. Shut it down."
She is not watching the stream. I can guarantee you that. Oh, all right. So okay. So overall, let's wrap it up on your 8K Samsung TV. What do you think? Should people buy it? Should people wait? What's your recommendation?
Got nothing but love for Samsung, but no. I mean, there's even from purely just if you want a big TV, now these days you can't play in that kind of 80 plus inch space. It's beautiful to get a demo unit, but I would never buy that. Even, me being an OLED stan, the LG, is it an 82 incher or 80? Shoot, which is the one? 80 is LG's is an 88 incher they just put out.
It's an 88, and
8K.
I know that if I can find the right,
I think it's around 30K. Even if I could afford that, I still want to get it because the content's just not available and ready yet. It's just not ready yet.
Yeah.
Like, you're better off getting a 75-inch 4K TV somewhere and enjoying that more than an 8K when there's little. Could you imagine buying an 8K TV and, there's those people that have money to burn and they're ready to buy an 8K TV and they look at 4K content and it looks like trash. Like, that'd be the most disappointing thing.
I would hate it. I mean, here, Value Electronics has it for sale. I believe they're one of the first ones that have it on display in their store in New York, close to Manhattan, not like right in Manhattan, but definitely if you're in the New York area, you want to see an 88-inch 8K OLED, head on over to Value Electronics, and I think it's $30,000, Brian.
Yeah, I remember it off the top of my head. Like, the thing about it is, at CES 2019, that specific TV was my favorite TV of any TV that was out there personally.
Yeah.
The 88 8K OLED from LG, just because of the image quality. But at the same time, I'm like, there's no 8K content, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. I mean, the whole being massive is cool, but like I was looking at buying so I bought 4 TVs to review, right? I bought the 3 mid-range ones, right? 55-inch, the Samsung Q70R, the Sony X950G, and the LG SM95 or something like that, or 95.
Damn, dude, you got what are you taking, like a semi truck to take all those back home, dude?
Oh man, no, they were all delivered freight, bro. But I had to buy them because I don't know too many people at these companies. What's up, Kendall? How are you doing? And I also knew that I wanted to get a new OLED, so I got a 65-inch E9.
Yes. Oh, that's a great get.
Oh,
and
it's pricey.
That's LG. That's an LG OLED for people that are wondering.
LG OLED, and it is
like their top line model.
Yeah, it's the same as the C9, but it's the design is different, so it's just a piece of glass, and then they put the
Don't they have the speaker? Don't they have the speaker on it also, though? That's one of the things with the E9.
Not this year.
Oh, okay, not this year. Okay.
Yeah, my 2016 it was like that, but it's all good. I have a glass and metal TV stand, so it looks amazing on it. But the one thing I did this time around was I had it pre-calibrated before it got right, because there's the closest calibrator is in Reno, 3 hours away, so it's $600 for him to calibrate and another $300 for him to drive back and forth. So screw that noise. So when I bought my LG OLED from Value Electronics, he has they have an ISF certified calibrator there. So they do this like panel check. So they check for uniformity, they check for defects, dead pixels, all that stuff. And if they it doesn't pass their initial inspection, boom, they open up another one. So it's kind of like
that's awesome.
A cherry picked unit.
Yes.
And dude, when I fired it up, I was just like, oh my God, this looks way better that it's calibrated. I was just like, oh man, insane. Anyway, we just found out, or a couple of weeks ago, we found out that Samsung is now closing off QLED production and moving over to OLED. Surprise, surprise. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that it's the right move, because I think that look, TV reviewers like yourself and people online, they're going to keep on I mean, the biggest theme, no matter how big they make these screens, is that LCD based technology cannot match the image quality of an OLED. Now, from a cost standpoint, you know, if you're making LCD based displays, and QLED is their name for their new technology, but it is an LCD screen and it can't achieve those inky blacks and the same level of detail, that really serves more of like the mid-range to entry-level consumer. But most of the time, if anyone's going to spend 3,000, let's say, how about this now these days, because the TVs are lower in price, $2,000 to $3,000 on a TV, you're creeping into, and you look at something and someone says, oh, get a Samsung, and you get that, and then you look at your friends who got an OLED, and you're like, what the heck happened? Enough of the reviewers and everyone talking about it are now saying, just get an OLED. So just from a competitive business standpoint, Samsung has to go to OLED, because the biggest thing that hurts the Q900 that I have is, yes, I'm not going to get an 88, 82-inch OLED TV, but right when you look at it, you see it right away. You literally see it right away.
Yeah.
It looks like, the best way to describe it, it looks like there's a fade or a coat of, like, you're almost looking at like a glaze of pea soup over what you think you'd expect. You know what I mean? It looks like you're in pea soup.
It's glaze of pea soup.
I don't know. I'm just
so you're talking like this little bit of film. There's like a film over it that you're kind of like looking through.
A pea soup glaze or a film.
Pea soup glaze. Man, you eat at some fancy places, bro.
I'm sorry about that.
I see your Instagram.
That's once in a blue moon, man. The rest of the time I'm eating salad and like Spam eggs and rice.
Oh man. I mean, look at this. We're having so much fun. Even Mike says more vids with Brian Tong. Please, about more topics. Hey,
we can talk about a lot of stuff. You should hear our phone conversations. They'll last like an hour after we do a podcast. But anyways, back to the business of it. Samsung has to do this just competitively. They have to. Every time the past 3 or 4 years, to be real, and Samsung knows this, I go to the different booths, check out what's at CS. What's the 2 booths that I want to see the TVs from the most are LG and Sony. Now we know Sony has their own engine and their own kind of processor enhancements that arguably have made their Sony TV this year, in a lot of reviewers' minds, has taken the lead over LG slightly, but has.
Right.
But those are the 2 guys that I always go to CES going like, what are they going to deliver? Typically, I've always been like LG. Samsung has always been like great design, great features, but I'm not going to buy an LCD-based TV. And if you and I are both thinking that, and every other reviewer is thinking that, that trickles down to the consumer eventually.
Right. And I mean, Rob brings up this good point right now. What about micro LED?
So micro LED in a TV, we're still a ways away from that. I mean, even producing that on a watch size screen still has not. I mean, there's plenty of benefits, better power efficiency. The technology itself is thinner, so something like your phone or your watch, it'll be able to help in that aspect as well. Color reproduction is going to be enhanced. There's micro LED is like OLED, not on steroids, but kind of in between the next level up, right?
Combination of the 2.
Yeah.
And when I was at CES, everybody had a micro LED.
Yeah.
Hisense had a micro LED.
Yeah.
And the one thing about it, I know Sony has theirs. It's called Crystal LED.
Yep.
Similar. Sony wants to differentiate, so they say it's totally different, but it's very similar.
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually videotaping some Hisense TVs, and I heard these guys talking about it behind me. So I turned around and started and jumped in their conversation like an asshole. Like, oh, hey, by the way,
So, well, actually, that you don't be the well actually guy.
And so I didn't know one of the guys was like one of the big dudes at Hisense.
Dude,
Another guy was like, "Hey man, I watched your channel from Australia." And I was like, "Oh, cool." And what was funny was like the biggest thing is when everything goes black, you just see all the seams
Mm,
of the little panels. Now, if you guys
mhm,
don't know what micro LED is, they have really, really tiny LEDs, but it's a modular based system where they have like these rectangles, like about this big, and a whole bunch of to create whatever screen size. So you can have a big TV made up of these little panels. And so like the Hisense guy was like, yeah, it's the seam, it's the technology, da da da. And I was like, well, and I think I totally blew his mind without even like, 'cause I was just talking. I'm like, well, if whoever comes out with a micro LED single panel
mm.
that's 65 inches with all the like things, like all the benefits, they're ahead of the game. And he was just like, I didn't think like he totally didn't think about that. And of course, I don't know how any of this works. I'm not an engineer. I'm not a
Totally, right?
I'm just talking. It would be cool if they can have that little thing just blown up. And if they were the first company to do that, dude, they'd be ahead of everybody and get it to market faster,
And I
So,
mean, at CS, we're able to see a lot of concepts like that haven't hit the mainstream market yet. And when you see a new technology at CES, by the time it actually gets into, when I'm saying a new technology, just like micro LED, it's like you're going to see that in your Best Buy in like 4 or 5 years,
right,
if that sometimes,
right.
right? It's exciting to see, but we're not going to be able to get our hands on it at all.
Yeah. No, it's going to be tough. Now, Rob says that Asus has a micro LED that you can buy right now, has 1 million dimming zones.
Well,
Rob, if you've got a link, drop it in there. I don't know if I allow links in the chat though.
Well, here, I'm not saying, look, I'm not even looking at what Rob is looking at, but sometimes also like my brain has like flipped mini LED and micro LED sometimes. And so, for example, like TCL has it. I'm actually very curious because Samsung put out their QLED TV. TCL has a new QLED 8 series TV, but they're using a backlight mini LED system that is supposed to offer them more control and allow, based on what they're saying, right? Their
OLED
QLED
level
screens,
black.
yeah, close to OLED level black. So uh, better than an LCD QLED screen, which is, I say those two words together because really it's the same thing. It's just QLED is like a marketing term.
Sure.
That's right, right. It's an enhanced version, but it's still a marketing term.
LED,
Yeah.
which is everybody has it.
Yes.
Sony's is called Triluminous. LG's is called NanoCell. They
Dude,
just
I'm gonna let you remember all those. I'm just here to listen on that part.
I that's all I know. That's all I know. But I know there's like who has ULED? Is that Hisense
Is that
or
what they call theirs?
I think so. But basically it's quantum dot technology that everybody's just marketed in a different way.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think
exactly.
Samsung's is a little bit better in the sense that they marketed it better because it's a Q. They call it QLED. Really looks like OLED, so there could be a confusion factor there. But yeah, it's been around for a long time. It's nothing new. They did some different things to it. Now, if we look at this here, this is what they're going to do. So Samsung's going to come out with a quantum dot OLED. That's what they're trying to do. So basically, a blue OLED material would create all the blue light plus the light energy that red and green quantum dots would use to create red and green light. Sounds confusing as hell.
It looks like, I mean, yes, that's why what the blue. So there's the blue OLED, and then there's the red and green are like filters, basically.
Um, I'm not 100% sure. I'd probably have to read a few more things, but basically, the
Oh,
QLED,
they're. You're right. No, you're right. They're red. The red and green are created by lights.
yeah, QLED OLED, sorry, QLED OLED, quantum dot OLED variants do not require backlight units and boast
Yep.
better color gamut and energy efficiency than LCD-based products. In addition, they do not have the so-called burn-in issue. That's going to be the huge thing,
Yeah.
right? If Samsung can like actually make, because somebody tossed up here, I'll toss their thing on the screen here. OLED has screen burn.
It's true. I
So
mean,
It'll
over
happen
time.
at some point in time. Luckily, my 3-year-old OLED didn't have it. But basically, what this is saying is they're going to be able to get rid of that. Now, that's the biggest thing, I think. If they are successful in removing any chance of burn-in on their quantum dot OLED, I think they got a winner.
I mean, the whole biggest question mark facing OLED in general is basically the life of the actual LED, because it's an organic material that will over time decay, and maybe your reds won't be as red and your blues won't be as blue 5 years down the line. Now, there's the good thing is that there hasn't been any like major evidence where you see a bunch of people saying, oh my gosh, my TV looks horrible now, it looks like trash, but it is going to decay over time. That's why when someone talked about, and I know we're throwing all these terms around, micro LED is not made of an organic compound. And so
Right.
that's why micro LED, not only does it give you the benefit of being thinner and reproduce those colors and be more energy efficient, because it's not an organic compound in there, those colors will arguably stay the same from day one versus day 1000 or day 2000.
Right.
So but to your whole point, it's all about the burn. I haven't seen burn on my TV, but there were a few times where I think I left Mortal Kombat playing like on the demo mode for a long time, and then I switched to like a white screen, and I was like, I saw like the health bars for that moment, and my heart froze.
Right.
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 I was like, and I said to my girl, I'm like, oh, did you see that logo burn in? And she's like, I saw something, and then I went back, and then you refresh the screen, you do a few different things, and I'm like, okay, it's done. But when you spend like $3,000, $4,000 on a TV, you never want to see that, and it freaks you out. It freaks you out, just the idea that it could happen, and it does happen to people.
Definitely. I mean, I'm in the, I'm fortunate enough to, if like I needed to buy a new TV every 3 years, I could. I wouldn't want to, but I could. And I'm just, blessed and fortunate enough that that's where I'm at. But yeah, if somebody like takes the time to save up, and you can even get like what, a C9 55-inch for $1,600 now.
Yep. I mean, that OLED is amazing.
Yeah. It's virtually exactly the same as my E9.
It is. It's the same panel.
Yeah, picture quality, performance is all exactly the same, and you can get it for under $2,000. It's still a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a lot of money. And just to tell you a little quick story, I also had a heart attack with my 2016 OLED because my wife and I went to we had to go deal with some stuff in Reno, and we came home, and our teenager was, I guess he had been playing Call of Duty. No, he didn't play Call of Duty. He plays Xbox. He plays like the basketball games.
NBA 2K. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly it. That's
what I do. I love that.
But he just in his bedroom, he just turns off the Xbox. So I come upstairs, and the TV's on, and the Yamaha receiver is on. Now, one of the things about the Yamaha receivers that I don't like is it has a static screen with this big, beautiful looking Yamaha grand piano. But in the center, there's this like the curve of the piano. And I was just like, oh gosh. And I turned it off, and there it is. I see this little line. I'm like, when was the last time you played video games? He's like, last night. I'm like, great. So it's been on for maybe 10 hours with this thing. So first things first, I sent Yamaha an email like, hey, what's up with this screen, and how do we make it so it doesn't happen? So apparently that's on there by default, but you can actually go in and change it to it's just a pure gray screen. So did that. Then I ran pixel refresher and this, that, and the other. And you don't really want to do that because it actually dims down your screen. Like the brightness of your screen gets lowered the more times you run that screen.
Really?
Pixel refresher. Yeah. So don't do that too often.
I do that every day.
Oh, dude.
I'm just messing with you. I would not even. I don't even know where the damn pixel refresher is. Let's be real. I'm just gonna tell you right now. Don't tell me about that feature.
Yeah. So like what Rob was saying is that OLED has horrible screen retention. Sometimes I get that. And really what happens is like, if it doesn't go away, then that means that screen retention has actually burned in at that time. yeah, man, dodged a bullet there with that one. But I told him, I was like, look, just turn the TV off. Don't be lazy. Just turn the TV off. You can keep everything else on. I don't care. The TV off. That's it. That's it.
You know, he's a kid too. That
Yeah.
when I was that age, when we had CRT tube, whatever screens and stuff, we left that crap on forever.
Oh yeah.
It burned in then too. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, those old school TVs, no matter what you did, it was gonna burn in if you left on a game screen for like a day or two or something like that.
Yeah. I think the funniest part is like, like you were talking about your parents and like, they're like, yeah, TV, cool. Yeah, 4K, I don't know what that is, but like, HD, right? HD was a big thing.
Yep.
Like my mom was like, I think I was off to college. I was back at home. She's like, I want an HD TV. I'm like, okay, all right, let's go check out what we got. And then so she got it was a 1080i Mitsubishi 52-inch like rear projection. So like it's
yeah, dude.
right back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only people playing content was HD net, right? So we got the Direct TV, we got HD net, and they had all these weird random shows, and that's what it was. And fast forward a couple of years, I'm like about to graduate college. My mom's like, so I heard about this TV and I want to get one for the bedroom. I'm like, okay, what is it? She's like, it's a plasma. It's like, okay. So she ends up spending, I don't know, $13,000 on a Fujitsu plasma, 50-inch in 2002. They told us it was going to die in 10 years, 8 to 10 years, and it's notorious for screen burn. What does my mom love to watch? The news. So here's the crazy part. I was there a few months ago, and I went into that room and I'm like, oh, the plasma's still here. I turned it on. It still turns on. I was looking around. No burn-in. How is that possible? Like, it was supposed to die 2010.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2019, right? Yeah, 2019, and it's still working. And there's no burn-in. Granted, and it was a 720p HD display. And I don't know. I don't know why it's working. Is it one of those things? I have no clue.
Well, God bless her. God bless your mom for that. And because, she's super smart, because plasma was the blackest black level before OLED came out. Even when LCD screens came out, they couldn't match plasma TV's black levels. I bought a Panasonic. I think it was the VT20 series. It was their, it was a 65-inch VT20 series, I believe. I mean, they went up, obviously they got better and better, but that was a beautiful TV. And only until I got an actual OLED LG TV, I think that TV, I kept it for at least 5 or 6 years until I sold it to someone who picked it up. And those things were damn heavy too. They're not light and thin like they are now.
Oh, I know.
You need 2-3 people. Like, if that thing fell on you, you would break or something. It would like a kid would get crushed, and not even lightly. Like they might get smashed hard.
Yeah, like no, it's funny you say that, because I had a 65-inch VT60, which is the last year.
Yes, that was the last. That was their last. Yeah, I had a VT20,
and it was supposed to be the Kuro killer. If you guys don't know what the Kuro is, it was the Pioneer Elite Kuro, and that was like one of the best TV displays of all time for like 8 to 10 years running. If you guys don't know what a Kuro, Pioneer Elite Kuro is, check it out, look it up. And then they stopped making it, and then Panasonic started making plasmas and started wanting to get that title. And the last two, the VT and the ZT, which was like the newest one, were the OLED killers. And then Panasonic stopped making it.
Yep.
Do you want to know how? Do you want to know how I got rid of mine?
How did you get rid of it?
It was purely by accident.
What happened?
My wife was pissed off at the teenager because he didn't put back the like canned food in the right place in the pantry, and so she took it out and threw a couple on the ground, and one of them hit the ground and hit the TV while I was watching it, and I just saw all the gas leave. It was like black at the top left. And it slowly took away all the picture. And then finally at the center, whoosh, black. And I was just like, what the fuck just happened? And that was not good. Not good. Not good.
Canned food. Not only
Keep that
not
away
the
from my TV.
not only not the best for our bodies, but very damaging to plasma displays.
Yes. Yes. So I was pretty pissed, and she was just like, "Oh my god, did I just do that?" I was just like, "Yeah." But then I got an LG OLED, so I mean, it was okay. It was okay. But yeah, man, it was heavy as hell too. Love those plasmas, but
you know what? You put up a cool comment. I can't remember who wrote it, but it was one of the guys in the chat room basically said, "Oh, I got a C9 65-inch for $1,800," and he said, "Don't get at me." This, yeah, Sky Solus Steel. But that's exactly what I did when I bought my OLED LG TV 2-3 years ago, because the C7 panel is literally the same as the C9. The actual panel, it's more about the design and so a few extra little bells and whistles. That's what I got, because I'm like, I just want that image quality. I didn't need any of the extra bells and whistles. Like at the time, they had a design where the speaker was built in. I'm like, I already got my own, invested in Dolby Atmos system.
I know where you got your speakers from.
You should tell them here, because I don't think your audience knows that story.
Oh, I think some of them do, but why don't you continue with what you're saying, then we'll go back to it about why you got the
Oh yeah, so to be a shopper who wants to save money and not feel like you're getting any less, LG's screens are consistent amongst their models when we're talking about OLED. So you save money, and you might have a basic sound system, or now these days people are buying affordable sound bars, because the reality is that getting a home theater system is awesome, but you also need a big enough room to really get the full value of a home theater system. People that are in smaller apartments, where there's a lot of us, I had a sound system. I'm like, it was probably for a while way too big than what my room could even really, benefit from.
Right.
Until I moved out eventually into a larger space with my girlfriend. Then I'm like, okay, now I'm really getting the benefit of this. So, it's okay, be budget conscious, but you can still get a killer deal with LG at their C-level displays. They're amazing.
That's right. That's right. And I know there were a couple of years where they actually made the C and above have the same processor, and the B had the previous year's processor. Yes. So if you wanted to really save some money, you could go with the B. But if you wanted all the new stuff and didn't care about like what the panel was housed in, then you go with the C. If you wanted to get up to like the E or the G or the wallpaper, because you wanted to look fancy, then you pay for that extra fanciness. But yeah.
I mean, what's weird about the whole wallpaper TV? Looks amazing, but the reality is like where I have my TV set on a stand about 1.5 feet off the wall. If you put that same 65-inch wallpaper on a wall, my screen would actually look smaller.
Right, because it's further away.
Yeah, it's further away.
Yeah.
And so in a weird way, although yes, it's classy and it can be like an art piece, I actually don't see as much benefit of getting, and you have to freaking like drill a hole in your wall to reroute the wires to get in there. Yep. When you think about that from a practical standpoint, wallpaper, sexy as hell, great, but function wise, I'm sticking with a cheaper and more ability to move around, more versatility, and get closer to where I need to watch, so it feels like a larger experience. I'm getting the physical TV.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's one of those things where I can see if you have a small living room, things are kind of cramped, and you want that minimalist look, and you don't have room for like a TV stand or something, and the distance wise is cool with something right on the wall, then go for it. But you are paying that premium, and you're getting the same video picture quality performance as you are with the TV that's what, $2,000 or $3,000 cheaper, right?
Exactly. Like, dude, hey, our man James Jackson in the chat just said he has also a Plasma VT20 65-inch no burn-in since 2011. Amen.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. That's crazy.
This is crazy.
That's crazy. Love it. Love it. Love it. So so the reason why I know what speakers Brian has is because Brian bought speakers off of me after I bought like a Klipsch center channel 250C, and I reviewed it on my channel.
Great solid center channel.
Yeah. And then I ended up getting the RP 280F towers, which had dual 8s. And for me, I felt like the center channel needed a little bit more power.
I
So
still
I
feel that
upgraded.
way now too. I'm like, but I don't have the space for it.
Yo, the 450C is huge.
Yeah.
And so I got the 450C, and then I put the 250C up on eBay for sale, and a pretty discounted price. And then somebody hits me up asking me questions. I was like, yeah, I can send you some pictures. Here's a link to the video I made, and it was Brian, and he's like, oh, I make YouTube videos too. I was like, oh, what? And yeah, that's kind of how it all started. And then randomly, I was at my first CES, and I was at my first day, and I was so tired. I was ready to call it quits. And I just like walked into the LG booth. I was like, let's just look in one more booth. And I put my bags down. And I look to my right, and then I hear somebody say, Chana? And it's Brian. And if you guys really want, I'll put in the link down below, or the first comment down below, I'll put the link to the actual interview. So Brian interviewed me at that CES. And it was totally random. Totally random. It was so weird. I went to CES by myself. I had no idea who was there. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And that's kind of how we know each other.
It is a crazy thing. But also, like, there's a lot of great people that work kind of in this tech space, but I think everyone kind of works separately and then come across each other at these events. But once we started talking to each other, we're like, we would have been buddies if we were living in the same town.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We would have been totally homies if we were living in the same town.
For sure. For sure. And look, Darius even has a name for us. Techno Tong.
Oh, I know Darius like those TTs.
We're talking Audis?
Yeah. Like his TTs.
Oh man. So yeah, there's just a couple of random other comments here. Technodad, how you liking your E9? It's gorgeous. It was pre-calibrated by the folks over at Value Electronics.
Hey bro, quick thing. How much does it cost to get it calibrated through Value?
600.
Oh, that's not bad. I mean, when you're putting down that much money on a TV set.
And then like I was saying, like I live in the boonies, so it's more of a it's tough for me to get somebody out here. So if it's calibrated before I get it, that's even better.
Yeah.
So yeah, for $600, I think it's great. And they do. I'm actually going to do a review video about it. But basically, they can copy all of the settings from to be on all of the HDMI inputs. They turn off that True Motion trash. Everything that you would normally do, right? And then what else? Oh yeah, so they calibrate Dolby Vision, they calibrate HDR, they calibrate SDR, all those dark room and light room, and then or bright room, and then and they also do all that with streaming as well.
Do they save a setting? Do they kind of because you can tweak with everything yourself, but obviously nothing what a pro calibrator does. Do they end up saving that final profile so that you can always go to it?
There's two. There's ISF. So they've changed ISF bright room and ISF dark room. Okay. However, when it's Dolby Vision or HDR, it's a different one. Mm-hmm. So I think it's the dark on both of those.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And he hasn't sent it to me yet. He's going to send the printout on what it was like pre-calibration and post-calibration. So you get those reports as well. So that's kind of cool too.
Yeah, they make it like, hey, this is literally what we're doing. So it's not like, hey, we had a guy just like tweak the brightness five bumps up, turn the contrast up 2, saturation 1, sharpness 1. All right, you're good.
Right. And I've even heard some people call themselves professional calibrators, and they just do everything like with their eyes, no tools.
That you want to talk about trash? That's trash right there, dude.
I would not trust anybody that does that at all. Oh yeah, you're gonna do a 12-point or 20-point white balance by eyeballing it? Okay, go for it. See how that works.
I mean, here's the weird thing though. Those people, they are still probably making some money because ultimately they can at least make your TV look better than it did before. And someone who's like, I just heard about a calibrator. The thing is, most people that are asking for calibration are super nerdy. They care. They're going to invest in it. But there's kind of that kind of intermediate range where someone's like, I just want this TV to look better. Can you just Google search TV calibrator? Boom.
Yeah. So
Good for them. God bless them.
Yeah. Bless their heart. Um, so yeah, like I'm really jazzed up on the TV, and I was going back, and you know what? It's funny. I see a lot of new YouTube channels where they're reviewing 4K movies and stuff like that. It's like stuff that channels that have just started in the last couple of years, you know, and I think I was doing a lot of that in 2016 and 2017. And a lot of the movies they're recommending, they're like, if you're new to 4K Blu-ray, you got to check out this, and this. I'm like, wait, what happened to Lucy or The Revenant or Planet Earth 2 or even Allied? I'm like, where are these movies that actually have like insane, you know, Planet Earth was shot on ARRI Alexa 3.5s, 4Ks and 6Ks, and, you know, 4K digital intermediate. Chappie. You want to talk about a movie with effect?
Yeah.
Chappie, you know, has a bunch of robots running around, and it's also got a 4K master. So I always wonder, like, I'm like, man, do I really need to make another one of those videos to be like, you know, 2019, you know?
Why don't you do like top 5 4K movies that are actually 4K? Because most of the movies are basically 2K transfers. Most of the ones we see today.
And I know it's going to look better. It's still going to look better because it was shot in 4K, even though it has a 2K master. It's going to look better than if it was shot fully in 2K or just 1080p.
But still, most of the movies are still shot in 2K.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing, though. No matter what you say and what we say, you got to have a good enough TV to even really see the benefits of that too, right? There's so many. You got to get a good receiver, right? You like, you know, you want, you know, I don't know how much you've seen, but like I know you have like, you know, what is your best, you know, 4K Blu-ray player, but that matters.
Yeah. It definitely does
matter to get that final thing to look as good as possible. So, you know, the biggest gateway is probably the TV, but still the 4K Blu-ray player matters. All that matters. And the actual disc and the movie and the actual transfer on the movie.
How it was made, like all that kind of stuff. So it's funny to me. It's just funny to me.
I love it though. It's so nerdy, dude. Honestly, it's so nerdy.
But I did when I did get the new TV, I started watching all those old movies again, and thank goodness I ripped all of my 4K discs onto a 10 terabyte drive. I just plugged that drive into my Oppo, and man, does it sound lazy? I don't have to get up. But you know,
I have an Oppo 4K player also too.
Nice. Yeah. Good call. So then you can also do the same thing. You can rip everything to an external drive and play it on there, and it'll run everything 4K HDR 10 and Dolby Vision and
really?
Dolby, yeah.
What app are you using?
Oh man,
we'll talk later.
You haven't seen my tutorial video.
I didn't yet.
I'm just using DVD Fab, and if you back up the disc to a folder using that, it'll extract the entire thing. So if the movie has Dolby Vision, then you just load up that folder on the Oppo, and I think the Oppo is the only. It's called a BDMV folder, and I think the Oppo is the only one that.
Wait, BDVM or SM?
BDMV. Sorry,
BDMV. Oh, not BDSM. Okay, just want to
sure. No. What? Oh yes, the Oppo is the only one that will play BDSM. That's what we're talking about here. Oh man,
stupid. That's stupid. Sorry about that.
No, it's all good.
Stupid. That is just stupid.
But anyway, yeah, like the Oppo will play those folders of a fully extracted disc, and that's the best thing for me, because like I'm looking at my table here, dude. I don't know where I put any of these things, and if these things actually have discs in them. And if I need to like go to a movie really quickly just to check out either some sort of audio or video, because you know I review 5.1 speaker systems, like I have my set, you know, things I want to demo or things I want to hear, you know, just boop, 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 boop. It's awesome.
I've been so busy. Like Shauna sent me the Allied 4K because he's like, there's a scene in here that you have to see what is originally shot in 6K. It's a 4K transfer, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to see the scene. It'll blow your mind, because and you know, again, you have to have the right equipment to even really really feel the full benefits of it. But he's been pushing me on it. He sent me the disc. I've been
Yeah.
so busy, so I'm gonna try and commit to doing that this weekend, and I
Oh,
will
sweet.
report back to you.
And it's also a great movie because I know like there's a lot of movies and a lot of shows out now, and like let's face it, let's be real, the acting quality has gone down in a lot of things. Man, we had so much hopes for
Don't sound too old here, Chana. Don't sound too old here, Chana.
we had some hopes for what was it, Yellowstone? It's on the Paramount Network. It's like Kevin Costner, good cast, great situations, and then we're like, yeah, and then all of a sudden the acting's just crap. No,
Bro, when was the last good movie that Kevin Costner acted in? And if you say Waterworld, then that's why you know Yellowstone sucks ass. That's how you know.
no, 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 no. The I think Dances with Wolves was probably the best one.
That was a great movie.
That was a long time ago. Long, long, long time ago. Anyway, let's not get talking about content. I think we're at the point where we're either just delirious and making jokes about everything, and we've reached that 1 hour limit. Just and I'll answer some random questions
Have
here.
some people fire you up some questions.
Yeah. Did I ever get around to making a Yamaha review video? Yes, I did. If I can find the link quickly, I will drop it in. Yamaha A2080 review. And this thing was pretty expensive, like $1,500, $1,600
Receiver?
Yeah. Ricky Ray asks, have you oh no. What did he ask? Denon Hios as opposed to Yamaha's Music Cast. I actually haven't gotten a Denon Hios speaker, so I will try to ask them to send me one because I think they're pretty expensive. They're anywhere from like 100 to $500. But basically, I'm sure you know, Brian, it's like it's kind of like Music Cast is what Yamaha uses to do like a whole home kind of music thing.
But are they doing it wirelessly?
Yeah. Well, you
Sure.
got to plug the speaker in to
Oh,
power, but
okay. Yeah, correct. I mean, here's the thing. I'm still old school. Like, I'm still taking. I don't even care. I just run the physical wire. I, from my rear speakers into my front. There was time. I've seen so many different offerings of wireless audio home theater systems over time at CS. Some platforms that I don't even see them at the shows anymore because everyone was trying to really, really crack that nut. I mean, are we at a point where wireless home theater systems are really good enough yet, or where what's your thought on that? Because I'm old school. I go physical. Give me the physical wire every time if I can hide it the right way.
well, okay, so me being a DJ and music producer,
Yes.
like I'm looking at this cable right here. This is a Mogami Studio Gold XLR cable, right? My studio rack over here that you can't see. This is what
This is my Mogami.
yeah, this is Mogami. Um it's like the standard for music studios. And I wouldn't dare try to like change anything here to go wireless. Um as a DJ, people are paying me thousands of dollars to DJ at their wedding. I'm not going to go wireless in any way, shape, or form, except for a wireless microphone. Yes, I need to have that. That's easy. But I know there's even services. I can go on my DJ software. There's a little Tidal thing, so I can actually stream tracks from Tidal and manipulate them and DJ them. The only problem is I live in the boonies, man. We're lakeside. It's generator. There's no Wi-Fi. There's nothing. So everything, all my songs have to be on my computer, and that's that. I might do wireless headphones for convenience if I'm at the airport and I'm going on a flight, something like that. But if it's anything here in the studio, anything professionally I'm getting paid to do, that shit's plugged in. Like I'm not even thinking about it. Like I have headphones to review. Where are they? I don't know where they are, but they're like $1,500. And here they are. These Focals, they're $1,500 and they're not wireless. So,
So
yeah.
then, okay, you talk about it as a DJ, but then what about home theater?
Oh, sorry. Totally forgot. Okay, so when Yamaha sent me that receiver, they also sent me 2 MusicCast speakers. They're about this big, and basically you can sign those up as your surrounds. So you plug them in, you log into the MusicCast app, and you can set one to surround left and surround right. And surprisingly, they work pretty well. Um, so that's the only experience I've had with it. I know Klipsch did a 5.1 fully wireless setup. You had to have like a wireless receiver kind of dock thingamajig that you would put in your TV stand, and then everything would link up to that, and then you'd plug in your sources, right? But I think you were limited to like 4 HDMI sources and 2 optical sources. It was an older setup. They don't sell it anymore. They don't even put it on their website. So I think it can get there at some certain point in time, but I think also if you think about any kind of wireless, you have to think about frequencies, like operational frequencies. Now that we're having Wi-Fi on 2 dual band, like I have a dual band router. So if you get into like a 3-band router, you know, you now have to like worry about, okay, if you want to have the full amount of your, like the full potential of your home theater system, and you're going wireless with all your speakers, everything should be on a different frequency so that there's no interference with cell phones, iPads, your Ring or your Hue, or like there's so many wireless things. I think it's safer to have a solid connection and have it like plugged in.
Yeah, I mean, even the thing about, when you're investing also in, you're talking about Dolby Atmos sound, timing is everything, right? And so to deliver those sounds at the right time, even doing it wirelessly, there's a coordination, there's a song and dance to then also sync that up with what's being displayed on the TV. And that's why, you know, you I haven't seen I was always curious. That's why I asked you about this question, because it's not as prevalent. And for me, even as a consumer who likes the old school, just plug it in, because I know that basically that signal is going to go out when it's supposed to go out and deliver what I'm supposed to see and hear at that time. Like that's important, especially when you invest that much in a system.
Yeah, I mean, and your AVR is doing a lot of calculations very quickly. Sound has to, go through your heights, your fronts, your rears, sub. Everything's just
How
kind of
it bounces off the ceiling if you have a Dolby Atmos system.
right, and it's time aligning all those things, right? So if you're off by a few milliseconds, you may not notice, or you may. It really, if you're paying that close attention to what's happening on screen. Perfect example is that scene in Mrs. Peregrine's Home for the whatever children, peculiar children, or something like that. Also a very,
Oh, totally seen that. Yeah, totally seen that.
very, very awesome transfer on that, and they also do it almost all full screen.
Oh, I love
Anyway,
it. Love it.
there's the scene where the plates are being smashed around in this bar, and they're just flying around your head, and in situations like that where things are matching up with what's happening on screen, a few milliseconds here or there could make it be like, just it's,
It's like, no, it's supposed
yeah,
to go.
yeah, something
That's what's supposed
like
to happen.
that, exactly like that. What else we got here? Oh, somebody was asking if Darius was asking, when are we going to see AK content from YouTube? I was just like,
Let's see, what is it? 2019 right now. I'll see you in 2030.
yeah. I don't think I'm just got a new Atomos recorder, so I'm going to start dabbling in 4K HDR, but I don't even know if I'll get like a proper workflow for another at least 6 months to like get that, like, so it's easy.
I mean, right now
And
when I'm streaming out of my live system, it's streaming out 1080p. When I
yeah.
do live stream, when I'm doing live
Oh
streams.
yeah, this is 720p right now,
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Will Thomas says Cole Hauser can act. And I think I saw somebody say something about Kevin Costner a second ago here.
When you critique someone's acting abilities, it does tend to fire up. People tend to come out of the woodwork in defense
I
of their favorite
get
actor
it.
or
I get it. Yeah. Well, I
like
can't
if
find the
it's
other
like
Kevin Costner
when you
thing.
start saying like Shake Shack is better than In and Out, people in California go ape shit.
Oh, dude, I haven't even been to a Shake Shack. I gotta try it.
When you
Gotta try
coming,
it.
dude, I'll take you to first Shake Shack when you come out here. it's more expensive, but damn, that is good.
Oh yeah, I'm headed down there next month. Let's talk about it. Wait,
We'll see.
is it September? Oh
No,
no,
it's
it's
right now. It's October. No,
yeah. Oh
tomorrow's
yeah,
October 1. Tomorrow's October 1.
that's right. Do you think HDMI 2.1 will be out on receivers and any processors next year? So I was just at Cedia, Brian. If you didn't know, Cedia is a big home theater, like custom integration kind of situation. Like, oh, dude, I never told you. I got to demo an $860,000 home theater, bro.
Dude,
Ridiculous.
how many speakers were in it?
It was a 13.6.8.
Man, rich people, they can do all types of crazy shit. They don't even
Oh,
care.
these people and their factory's near me, which is odd because I'm not near anything. So I'm gonna get a factory tour and make a video about it. But they use these planar type of panels, and each panel is 8 feet tall, and it's 80 hertz to 22,000 hertz
Whoa.
frequency response in each
Whoa.
panel. And I think each panel is like $40,000, something ridiculous like that. Ridiculous.
So they have one
But
customer.
oh, and the screen is a 230-inch screen.
Wait. They
Uh,
make the screen itself too?
no. They got the screen from Seymour Screens, but that was
Oh,
part
okay.
of the like demo. And then the projector was like some $40,000 projector from Barco, which is what they actually use in theaters. So literally, it's like professional grade equipment. And man, oh man, it was insane.
It better be
Insane.
insane.
So
It
good.
better be insane if it's 860K, dude. What are you talking about? You're like, yeah, it was all right. I'm like, that's the worst news I ever heard today. It's all right. It's all right.
But yeah, no. So at Cedia, I did see a few high-end AV receivers like from Audio Control, like we're talking minimum $3,000 on up. Processors more expensive, but honestly, 2.1 HDMI, not really a huge thing for an AV receiver because we don't have any 8K or 10K sources, right? Maybe for gaming consoles, 4K at 120 hertz, right? That would be the next step. But for now, it's still going to be HDMI 2.0B, which will support enhanced ARC, auto low latency mode, and is that it? I don't know. I always think there's one more thing. Oh, variable refresh rate. That's right.
You know what's interesting also though is I think because in the tech space, a lot of people are used to some of these platforms and new technologies when they hear about it being adopted in like a year or two and really, but the TV world moves a lot slower than the phone world, than the laptop world. So, you kind of have to HDMI 2.1 has been talked about for a while, but you still haven't seen that platform give an everyday consumer the benefit of it yet because it's just gonna take time for us to get the sources, the right content to really take advantage of 2.1, even though it's there. And because like I think one of the first questions I did like a kind of talked about some of the first TCL TVs they're releasing this year. Probably the most popular question was, does it have HDMI 2.1? Does it have HDMI
Yep.
2.1? I don't know if you get that a lot when you talk
Yep.
about TVs, but everyone wants to know, does this TV have HDMI 2.1? Because if not, they're like, oh, it's trash. And yeah, it is future proofing it if it does. But even at the same time, I mean, yeah, would I want HDMI 2.1 on a TV? I would, but it's not going to kill me if it doesn't. Does the does the LG E9 even have 2.1? It does have 2.1 on it?
That's actually why I bought the LG OLED. That's why I upgraded, because I'm getting a lot of questions, and a lot more AV receivers that are on the horizon are going to start having HDMI 2.1, and just to test out those
You got to.
variable refresh rate, all that kind of ALLM, all that kind of stuff. I would just wanted something to test it out. So that's why I went LG OLED over Sony OLED. That and the operating system. I
Yeah.
like WebOS way better than Android. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, you can't just buy a TV because of the operating system. And actually, that's why you would buy a TV, because of ease of use, what you like, what you don't like, picture quality. I mean,
Obviously
it's like splitting hairs, $5,000. If you're comparing two $5,000 TVs, they're both going to look great. It's really what I said in my wrap up video after the 4K TV shootout, where the Sony A9G won over the C9 over the Q90R. It's really about you, not about the TV. It's about what's going to fit in your home better, what's going to fit with your lifestyle better, your viewing habits, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah,
and also
operating system. Go ahead.
yeah, no, go ahead.
So operating system for me is huge. absolutely abhor that, Android operating system in the Sony TV. Android operating system in the Shield, fantastic. Don't know why they can't just be like exactly the same. Anyway.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think also the reality is that when you've been associated with or using a product much like phones and whatnot, like for me, when I heard that Sony's A9 TV was not only in your review, but a lot of people are saying like that is the new standard for OLED right now. It still didn't make me say I'm going to go out and my next TV is going to be a Sony. My brain still says I love LG's products from a TV standpoint so much. I'm probably guessing, unless they really screw it up, which they won't, that my next TV will be another LG, whenever that is. Right, this is down the road. I don't need a new LG TV anytime soon. I have a C7, and I'm totally fine with it. It looks amazing, but my tendency would probably be to get an LG unless something blows it out of the water the next time I make my next purchasing decision.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, it's one of those things. It's a very personal thing, man. People get pretty heated about TVs. Paul N
TVs.
asks,
What about phones, bro? That
what's
gets
up?
crazy heated. Phones?
Oh yeah, phones. Yeah.
It's like, hey, I'm glad you love your phone. So do I. Can we be cool?
I'm gonna spend my dough on the iPhone Pro. I'm going.
You don't even know what you're talking about right now.
I have no idea, dude. I'm still on the 10.
I mean, I could sing the song, but it doesn't make sense. They have to see the video.
Okay, yeah, you guys check out the video. Let me just drop it in the link. What's the title of it?
Just type in iPhone 11 Pro Old Town Road. So for people that are watching, just for fun, before we wrap up in a bit, like I tend to try and really put out fun parody music videos when Apple releases a big new product that's important to them. So, for example, when the iPhone 5 came out, I did a parody called iPhone 5 on it. When iPhone 6 came out, I did a iPhone 6 You Up, like, Color Me Bad. What else? I've done a ton of parodies. Oh, I did instead of I Can't Feel My Face, I did an iPad Feel My Face parody. You haven't seen that one, have you?
I don't think I've seen that one. So I just dropped the link in the chat. You guys check it out. It's pretty funny.
It's dumb fun. But you got to have fun and put, I write all the lyrics myself. I speak to the audience that gets it. I perform the songs. It's just fun, but it takes a lot of work. And the reality is that I'm not a view hunter, but when you put out parodies, it's not like you make a penny off of them because YouTube's algorithm, they can scan it and know that you're using licensed music. So
yeah, content ID. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just doing it more just as a creative outlet and to have fun and bring some joy and entertainment to myself and then for people at home. Like that's part of creating.
I thought it was pretty hilarious. So
people are pretty happy about it. I'm happy about it.
Yeah. So to answer some of your guys' questions in the chat here, the Panasonic UB9000 is pretty much that, and the Pioneer LX500 are going to be your $1,000 4K Blu-ray players. If you really want to go Oppo, I think they're going for $1,300 for the 203 and about $3,000 for the 205. Last time I checked eBay, which was probably about like a month ago. I know some of you are saying that it's not worth it to go with the UB9000 because the 820 does the same thing. The only difference really I see, because I've had them both. I still have the UB9000. I have the Oppo 203. I have the new Sony X800 M2 that I'm still reviewing. I still use the Oppo over everything else. So that's for me. That's my workflow. I have a hard drive with all those movies on it. That won't work with the Panasonic. So that's why I use that. So, like I said, another thing, the Panasonic might have a little bit better function as far as the HDR Optimizer. So I don't know if you know, Brian, the HDR Optimizer will optimize the HDR to your display. So you set up in there, you have an OLED, you have a high-end LCD, meaning something with high nits, or a mid-level to entry-level LCD that has low nit levels, or a projector. So
that's pretty awesome, honestly.
Yeah, no, it's actually good. The thing is, it's $1,000. It's great build quality. They make a $500 version called the 820, purely plastic. But it does the exact same thing. So you want to spend the 500 or the 1,000, depending on exactly what it is you want, And
it's sitting in your cabinet and you're not lifting this thing up. It just looks black.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. Plastic it is.
Yeah, right. I mean, the only thing that's different really is you get analog XLR outputs for stereo listening with the $1,000 version.
And that, that caters to the super audiophile
Right, which
that's
are
willing to spend
not
$1,000.
even gonna use that. They'll
Yeah,
probably use something that costs like 10 grand, like, 'cause that's like that's that level that they're on. So, oh, Tony chimes in with the Panasonic GZ1000. Have you seen any of those in real life, Brian?
no, no,
That's
what?
Panasonic's OLED?
No. Oh, well, okay. See, I kind of like bypass Panasonic's booth because whatever. I mean, fine. Call me a jerk or like just whatever. But once they shut down Plasma, I lost the love for them.
Well, the thing is they get the same panel from LG. They have different processing. I think they do HDR10 and HDR10 plus, so no Dolby Vision. The only problem is you can't buy it in the States.
Well, then,
So,
and no Dolby Vision. Come on,
however, I found a place in Irvine, California that sells these things because they are sold
in
only
Asia.
to production houses, Hollywood production houses. Um,
Oh,
I
I
was
thought,
I was trying to get them to sell me one, and he's like, "I don't know, I think that would actually cause, like, a whole bunch of problems if you're not a studio, person."
dude,
So
you are, dude. Techno Dad LLC. Let's go. Let's go.
right, right,
I honestly thought you were gonna say, "Oh, they only sell them in China, and in Irvine, there's a lot of Asian people, and so then they got some special cut where they shipped them out to their dude in Irvine."
Irvine, oh,
And he,
man. No, no, that's just where
shout out
they're
to all my Asian
located. I tried calling a place in Canada because they sell it in Canada and the UK, and I think in Europe, um, but that's it. No Panasonic OLEDs in the United States.
Here's the weird thing. Okay,
Oh,
fine.
Tony
Like,
says it does have Dolby Vision.
okay, good. Because okay, good. It does have Dolby Vision. Because if it was an industry TV that's for industry,
It
it
should have
better have
everything.
Dolby Vision.
Yeah, so they're using them as, like, mastering displays when they're mastering a movie for color and resolution, all that kind of stuff. So that's super cool, you know? But I did hear, this is still in the rumor mill, that a lot of Chinese manufacturers are now going to be creating OLED. So I'm really curious to see what's going to happen at CES. I'm still unsure if I'm going to go or not because it was a huge. I think I spent like 3 grand.
Dude, it's expensive to go out there, especially on your own. It's
Yeah,
expensive.
and I don't know
It's
if I
expensive.
have that kind of cash to do that this time around. But I am interested in to see like what is going to come out OLED wise from these Chinese manufacturers. I mean, if they're going to lower the barrier of entry, I'm assuming LG and Sony and them are going to have to lower that as well, right?
Well, if history tells us anything, you know how my people do, and so it's all about that cost. It's well that too. It's all about that cost. It's all about bringing down that manufacturing price as low as possible. Look, they won't care if they release an OLED TV that is, let's say, arguably $600 to $1,000 less than a similar OLED, and someone sees that, and the image quality is, let's say, 80% of what an LG OLED gets, and you're paying that much less,
Yeah.
people are going to end up, the market, although you won't see it right away, it does tend to shift that way. I mean, I think a good example, and I use them as examples because I owned one, I bought two of them, and before, I even really, before they even blew up, like TCL, way back in the day, they had the first TV with Roku in it. I was a big Roku fan. I could have bought so many TVs for my secondary bedroom TV, but I bought a TCL TV not knowing anything. Like, I read about it a little bit. I saw an Amazon review. I'm like, who's TCL? Like, they have Roku. I'm like, you know what? Just because I'm in this tech space and I love the Roku interface, I should just, like, kind of what you do, right? As someone who has to talk about this, report about it, I'm going to get it and see how it impacts how I use in a daily way. And if I like it, I really enjoy it. And I loved it. And I was like, dang. And their TVs were like, it was at the time, this is when TVs were way more expensive. I feel like it was like maybe $350 for like a 50-inch LCD TV with a Roku and TCL. And I'm like, okay. But then you start seeing like TCL as a brand rising because they're selling TVs at a significantly lower price compared to other competitors. The technology may not be OLED, right? TCL doesn't sell a single OLED TV here in the States. I don't even know if they sell one in China. Probably don't. I'm guessing not yet. But they're now the number 2 TV manufacturer in the US. from a sales standpoint, which is kind of crazy, which tells you that whole formula of like, okay, China is now getting into OLED. They're going to drive costs down a lot. And then they're going to partner with some of these brands to bring OLED at an even cheaper price. Now that it at least is a point where they can make it more affordable and even more affordable than it already is. And that's a big, it always comes down to the money,
huge.
man.
That's huge. Yeah, no, totally. If people aren't buying it, why should they make it? Right.
I mean, think about it. You and I are again, we care about the image quality, and we are technically videophiles. Sometimes saying the word is silly, right? But if my mom and dad want an OLED TV and it looks pretty damn good, let's say 85-90% of what a LG does, and it's $500 to $800 less, I'm probably going to buy that one for my parents.
Sure.
Because they don't care.
No, they don't. I mean, my mom has a bunch of like awesome HD TVs, but she's watching like some Indian channels off of Dish Network, which come in like 480. So, and she doesn't care. It looks like ass when I'm watching it. I'm like, how can you watch this? The picture quality sucks. She's like, oh, this is my favorite show. So, that's it. They don't really care. They just want to watch what they want to watch, and that's it. It could be in 360p, whatever.
Yep, it's true, man. It's true, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, look at that. We've gone on for almost an hour and a half.
I love you, man. I love you so much. That's why I do this with you, bro.
Yeah. Lots of love for you too, man. I want to thank you again for stopping by the channel and doing this. Everybody that's watched, I know there's 78 of you in here now. Thank you so much. We're going to probably end it off right here. But yeah, definitely check out Brian's channel. I'll put the link to his new music video parody in the description box once this thing uploads properly. Thanks to everybody that's here. Darius, Tony, Paul, Big Kane, Ollie, Emil, Aaron. All right, that's it. Ricky.
You had a problem pronouncing the name Aaron. We need to stop this podcast now.
No, I was looking up. It was the same person over and over, and then I was like, "Oh, next name, Aaron." Okay,
good excuse. Good excuse. It's pronounced, when you see two A's, it's pronounced like a single A.
Yeah. Maybe that was the confusion. Oh man, always a pleasure, dude. We got to hang out like normally. Next time I'm in LA, I'll hit you up for sure.
No, I'll do a live stream. I'm gonna figure out how to get some live stream stuff going on and have you on. It's always fun, man. It's always enlightening too. So I learn a lot from you as well, bro.
Yeah, me too, man. It's been great. Thank you guys again for watching. Brian, thank you so much for doing this live stream and being on the channel. And look, the power didn't go out. The power did not go out.
And now. All right, thanks, Sean. I appreciate it, bro.
All right, take it easy. Peace.
Cool.